Hey everyone, and welcome to today's video. So we're doing a bit of a how-to, so we're going back to the old school here. So it's how to replace the belt line. There are lots of different options. Well, actually, there's probably not lots. There's probably 3 options you can go for to get rid of this chrome line around the bottom of the windows. So first of all, you can obviously live with the chrome. If that's your look, stick with it. Also, you've got the option of painting it. Now, I've attempted it in the past and it didn't work. Maybe a body shop could paint these. Now, it's a bit of a nightmare with the rubbers expanding and contracting in heat, so it reveals some of the chrome. So I've seen it attempted a couple of times and never a big fan of the finish of it. Your other option is the tape, and I'll show you that on my R56 in a minute. And you get like Beltline tape, and it's just like electrical tape, and you run that around the chrome line, and that's really good, and that's a really cheap solution. It's probably maximum of £20 at most on eBay for a set. You can get glass, matte, different colours. You're able to change that really quickly and easily, and that's a really nice solution. That's what most people go with. Now, for years, everyone has been asking Mini to supply their cars with a black belt line, and they've finally listened on the F56, and they actually do an optional extra now, which is a from factory black trim that you can actually retrofit to the car as well if you didn't order your car from the factory with it. So the dealerships sell it. Off the top of my head, I know it's probably around a couple of £100, so that's obviously the most expensive option out of all of them. But for me, it's the most permanent and the best looking because it's going to be factory finish every time. So what I'll do, I'm going to do a video on how to install that option to the car. I'm going to go over to the R56 now and just show you the tape, just so you get a feel for why I've opted not to go with tape on this one and actually go with the OEM piece. Okay, so we're just over looking at my R56 now, and you can see this has got the tape on it. And if we look from the side, it's quite difficult to bring up on camera, but there's sort of bubbling along the top of here when you get to the ends, because you've got heat. The tape expands and contracts with the temperature outside. I know the car's a bit dirty, but you can see the chrome. When this was fitted, that chrome was covered, but because of the heat expanding both the rubbers and plastic trims, the tape itself, it can sometimes expose chrome, especially on older cars where you've got trim lifting up, like this one. You can see it'll suddenly expose it. And just the finish of it, if we come down here, where you get water ingress behind the tape, you can see it sort of lifting, because ultimately all it is like vinyl sticker. So any water that gets underneath can lift it, and heat and everything else can impact it. So while this looks good, and for 99% of the applications, I think this is good enough, and for the other generations like the R53 and R56, you don't have a choice. It's either this or paint. You can't buy the factory belt line. What I'm going to do now is go and get the box out of the factory one, show you what you get in the box, and then we'll fit it to the car. Okay, so this is the box that has come from Mini. So you can see it's a huge box because it's going to have the belt line, which the longest piece is like the back of the car. So if we open this up, so it's well packaged as you'd expect with an OEM part. There you go. So you can see they look like they're the ones that go on the front wings. And there's a protective film on these, and all they are literally OEM replacements. So you can see why they're more expensive, because they're not a bit of tape or a little bit of a clip-on cover. They are full OEM replacements, so they've got the proper rubbers on them, the proper connectors to connect them to the car, and everything else. So I'm assuming as I go through the box, bits like a box of chocolates, yep. There you go, you've got the full set. So what I'm going to do is show you how to fit these to the car, and then we'll stick the chrome ones back in the box, keep them for a future date. There is a protective cover on these, so you can peel that film off once they're on the car. And if I remember rightly, they're like a gloss black finish, but we'll take a look and see exactly how they are. But it should be easy enough. I don't think you'll need many tools. I don't think there's any screwdrivers involved from what I've seen. I think it's all just pull off and clip back in. So we'll go to the car now and fit them. Okay, so we're going to start from the front of the car and work our way back. So into the front to halfway down is the easy part. There's a few bits you have to do with clips and stuff at the back. So we'll do these because I know these are all sort of pressure fit. So if you see anything like the wing, all you do is pull up. And that's it. Literally pull up and away from the car. So we'll do the bonnet first. And what I'd recommend is just starting from one end and use as much force as you think is needed, just to pull up we'll go to the other side. But what I don't want to do is bend, so be really careful because these are really easy to bend. Just pull off the car. I'm going to put on the roof because I've got a glass roof. Okay, so when it comes to fitting the front one, if I show you on the back here, there's a little centre marker, and there is a little, if you can see there, little cut out which is centre marker. If you line those up, from what I understand, we should be pretty much accurate. So push that down, make sure that centre line is in place, and we should be able to, with the palm of our hand, push down so you've not got force, potentially bend it or damage it. Okay, and that's in place. So that's your bonnet done. Now there's a protective film I'm going to leave on till the end. We'll peel that off, that'll be satisfying. Okay, so we'll give you a nice close up on this one. So again, just line up your part out the box to make sure it's the right one. And then all you do with these ones is lift up. If that catches that, don't worry, you can press that back in place. And then you can see, maybe give this a bit of a clean. And it should just press your fit back on where your part came off. Now you don't want to remove all the belt line at once, just because it gives you the ability to line all the pieces up. Make sure you've got plenty of gap around. Now this is a bit tricky because of here, and these being fresh plastics, but let's give it a go. There you go, and that's in and clipped in place. Okay, so on the passenger side, you've got this sort of cut out at the front. You make sure these angles match, which they do. If I just put that out the way in the car for a second, these should lift off. You have to open the door and pull from this back corner. These are the quite tricky one to get off. Once they're off, there you go. It might again get stuck a little bit here. I'm just going to pull it around that. There you go, that's off. And then just match your part again to that. That matches perfectly, so we know that's the right one to go on this side of the car. And all you've got to do again is line everything up, and you can see you've got this plastic groove that fits over the metal, so it's pretty obvious where it goes. Maybe open that to make it a bit easier on yourself. There you go, and that suddenly clips in place. Okay, so you can see we've got that front 3/4 in, so those 3 panels. So for the 2 on this side, it's exactly the same process, so I'm not going to show you the other side because you just repeat exactly what we did this side. And already that is looking a million times better, and that's still got the protective film on it, so that's still got to come off. Now I've got to work out these 2 pieces, and then obviously whatever happens, this will be the same on the other side. But I understand these are clipped in rather than pressed on, so I just need to have a look at the reverse of the bits in the box, work out how to take these off, and then I'll show you on a video. Okay, so we've got you kept in nice and close. So these are clipped in all the way along, so you can use sort of a trim removal tool and get it underneath, and that's starting to lift away already. And from what I understand, literally pull. Okay, and what we're going to do, we'll go to the box and get the other piece and see if there's anything we need to remove from this to attach the new one, or whether the new one comes with all these clips anyway on the back. Okay, a little tip, one of the things you're going to find is it's all grubby around these, so maybe just get a bit of quick detail or some water, whatever you got to hand, and just be gentle Just try and clear away some of this dirt. And you might find, like mine, there is a bit of a rub line where the original belt line has obviously sat against the car for so many years, and just rubbed there. I bet if you got a bit of SRP or polish, that line will go. You're not going to see it anyway, but what I might do is just get a bit of SRP polish and just clean that up a bit. Try not to scratch the paint, but you can see there, just cleans it out a little bit so you're not putting it onto dirt, and clean the glass as well. That's a little tip. Okay, so we've got the chrome and the black replacement, so again, match them up, make sure it's the right one. Take a look at the back, you can see these clips. I think in some applications they get stuck to people's car when they remove them, so if they do, you need to clip them back into, actually no, yeah, you need to remove them and just clip them back into your chrome bits so you've got them for future reference. But there's nothing you have to remove off the back of these to get these to fit. So you can see these, the black ones at the bottom, and they have all these trims. And all they do is, if you see here, you've got this little lip that just fits. There's a little slot or a groove that runs all the way along. So again, line them up. There you go. Hear that suddenly clipping it. And make sure you hear that clipping noise. Make sure none of your rubbers across the top of the bottom are twisted in. Go all the way along with your palm, so you're not putting dents into it. You can hear that's now clipped in place. Okay, so we just lift the camera around and you can see now we've got all the front end done on this side. And now we're moving on to this boot hatch. So that's the last piece of the puzzle. Okay, so we move on to the back end. So for me, we open this and just feel the edges of this. And hopefully, if it's like mine, there's a slight lift and you can just pull that away. Now, I've already done that off camera, but it's exactly the same as the sides, as in it's clipped in and it will sort of pop away slowly. So you just pull, 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 pull until that's off. And it's exactly the same clips on the rear end of that. So again, anyone that has an F56 will know how mucky these get at the back. Every time you wash the car, dirt falls out. So off camera now, I'm going to clean this section and then go and get the new bit to put on. Okay, so let's zoom you right in so you can see again what's going on. Excuse me. So all you need to do is line this up end to end to make sure your spacing's equal. Then all I'd recommend is exactly like the sides, is you've just got to push this. Right, so apologies, my camera died halfway through, so I don't know how much I sort of caught, but basically line it all up on the back end of this, and then press it in exactly as we did on the rear quarter. Just press it in with your palms until it all clips all the way along, and you'll feel it and you'll hear it clipping in place. You want to make sure, obviously, with the cost of this, that it is clipped in place. Give a little wobble to make sure it's all tight, and that's done. Okay, so you can see that we've got that belt line now all the way around the bottom half of that car, and that looks so much better already. And I know people are going to use tape and be happy with it, and that's absolutely fine, but for me this is worth every penny, and I'd recommend it to anyone. But for me, there's no better satisfaction than removing this nice cover and look at that perfect gloss black. Makes the paintwork look bad. I need to get this car detailed, but you can see there's a protective layer across it. Peel that off and you get a beautiful gloss black finish. So let's peel this off. So satisfying. We'll do that all the way around the car, and you can see, look at that, what a transformation on that belt line. So it just, especially when we zoom back on that front end, takes away that chrome. So the only chrome left now we've got is in the headlights and in these bits. So we've got a video coming up shortly on how to get rid of those bits of chrome as well. Right, so that was today's video all done. So it's super DIY job that. You don't need to be a mechanic, you don't need tools. Technically I did it, or I could do 99% of it without any tool, and even then you only need something, a flat piece of plastic, if anything. If you found today's video useful, please hit that thumbs up button. to like the video and subscribe so you get updates on the F56 and any other videos we upload, and hit that notification bell. So we've got more videos coming up. We're going to dechrome this. We've got a few interior mods to go as well. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.